Scaling in your business means that you have to promote and promote some more. Reaching a wide audience doesn't have to be a painful process, and we're here to help you. Sign up for your sponsor ad today. You provide the product, service, or event that you would like to promote, and we do the rest. Enter and win a sponsor slot today. It's a win-win. It's cost-effective and meets your need. For more information, email helloaudacitypodcast@gmail.com or simply send us a DM. You're listening to Hello Audacity Podcast, where we highlight Audacity in business from startup to multi-level success, finance, health, wealth building, and the journey to self-discovery. The added bonus is that you get to learn from industry leaders and hear victory stories across the nation. Now that's Audacity. I'm your host, LaShaMarie. Let's get into it. In today's episode, we talk to Coastal Leadership Coaching, which empowers individuals to transform their goals into reality through hands-on coaching and training. Their CEO, Jeff Williamson, is not only a trainer facilitator, but a two-time best-selling author. His latest book, which launched recently, is already topping the Amazon charts. The Other Side of the Coin offers a compelling exploration of how altering our perspective can lead to significant changes in various aspects of life. Jeff studied at University of Michigan and Harvard Business School, but he also gained his certification as a speaker under the John Maxwell team. This was truly a conversation about the psychology of the journey into your legacy. Here today, we speak with author, speaker, and leadership coach, Jeff Williamson. Let's bring him up to the screen. I'm excited to have this talk with you. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Now, you're in Ohio, is that correct?
No, South Carolina.
South Carolina. Okay.
So,
okay.
And that's funny. I'm a Michigan graduate, so I was like, Ohio, maybe. So.
I was born and raised in Michigan. I did see that. You went to U of M, right?
Yes, ma'am. I sure did.
I thought so. Well, I know it's getting cold here. I am new to the Pennsylvania area.
Okay.
And first, being raised in Michigan, we're kind of used to fall kind of seeping in around this time. But since I have been in the South for 20 plus years, I'm not adjusted very well. I don't like it. It's like summer was not long enough for me.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes. So I speak about the psychology, and I tell people that I'm always nosy. I'm snooping because I want to know who I'm going to have on my show. Okay.
Sure.
Along with kind of finding out what you're really doing, pulling out the meat and substance of who you are and how you can help my audience. So let's first you share a little bit about yourself to the audience.
Okay. Well, so I have a large passion for helping others see potential in themselves that they have not seen before. There's been so many people that have blessed my life and have made a huge impact with me. And, and I know that we get stuck sometimes. And there's been times, being vulnerable where, in the Bible, it talks about the one talent, the two talent, and the five talents. And there's times where I took my one talent, potentially, metaphorically speaking, and I buried it in the sand. And I just kind of didn't do what I felt like I was called to do and to lead well, as I hope to be known as somebody that has led well. And so then I kind of transitioned through a lot of life circumstance to recognize that, hey, I need to go out in the world and I need to try to create leaders because other people have invested so much in me, and I want to have that positive ripple effect. So to be known as somebody, I hope to be known as one that leads well, but also to mentioned that, yes, I did graduate at Michigan back in '99, so a little bit ago. Been married now for 26 years to my high school sweetheart. Also, we are blessed as empty nesters with but awesome kids, 24-year-old daughter and 21-year-old son. So So we keep ourselves busy, but just from a passion standpoint, we try. My wife too. We try to lead as best we possibly can.
Right. I love when I can highlight coaches and leaders, both men and women, because we need to have these conversations. We need to provide resources to make sure that we're arming people with
That's
the
right.
information that they're needing in order to excel and push past those pressure points in life to really get to the side. I know when I was going on when I was on your website, which will be below, I realized that, it is a psychology behind really getting to the next point that you're trying to get to when you're going through stuckness, or you don't know which way to go or where to start, or how do you recover through grief or divorce or bad breakup or healing traumas. So, it is a psychology behind all of it. And I think that the two books that you have, and we're going to point on those in a minute to kind of take a deeper dive. You guys, his books is absolutely phenomenal. I can't wait to share with you his latest book, because just reading the synopsis on it is just like absolutely amazing. It was like, oh, it kind of made me think. It really did.
Yeah.
So before you got into coaching, what did your career look like, and how did you dive into this more coaching realm?
So my first job, even at McDonald's when I was 16, it wasn't very long that they said, "Hey, sure, you can balance cash real well and make French fries good. Let's have you train other people." So I've always had the coaching spirit and just the leadership drive to see how others could, even in McDonald's and things like that, to see how they could achieve to their potential. And so I've always had that heart for that. But I'm pushing past almost a quarter of a century, 25 years next year, where I've been in consumer finance. So working in finance companies and banking, and certainly blessed to be able to have a culture where they're very forward thinking on how we can lead people well. And in doing so, it's to really be dynamically involved qualitatively to see how we can grow them to then be able to lead customers and just the community well. And it's quite a bit like the 7 Habits of Highly Effective Individuals. There, the first 3 chapters are how we work on ourselves first, so that we can then be able to lead others well. So it just got to be an awesome opportunity where I kind of not switch roles, but I got to really get more so involved on that spectrum. So that's been good.
Okay. Awesome. I know that we always have a starting point, and I know when people are coming to me asking for advice and where to start, I always give them the meat of my story, because I believe it shapes who we are. It gives us that passion behind what we do, for sure. Now, your first book, which is still marinating, turning your journey into your legacy. Now, tell me about what got you to thinking, this I need to write the story. I need to help someone out. Can you share with us a little bit about this particular book?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So I'm a reflector by nature, and there's a show long ago, Doogie Howser. I don't know if you guys remember that, but at the very end of every show, he would have this moment where he would type his reflections and he would think about the day, and it was this sweet moment at the end of the show where his life lesson that he learned or whatever. So I actually, to level myself up and to really start to reflect well, I started doing that, and I started to write, and it's the idea of clearing your cache memory or clearing your cookies. So you put it all out there, and it causes for inspiration. And in doing so, it was just this great opportunity. And I would share, hey, I wrote this reflection the other day, and I'd share it with one person, I'd share it with another person. And it just got to be something that was, pretty dynamic. And I thought, hey, what can I do with this? What's the next step, I suppose, with this? And with this first book, it's written differently than the second book and the third one that I'm working on, but it's written in parable format. And there's a lot of stories that are, centric to myself and to my life, and other ones that are, still important to me. But it shows through those journeys, be it through communication or through imposter syndrome or whatever the case may be, self-awareness, how we can learn through these situations and apply. And application is the most important part. I have reflection questions at the end of every chapter. And I think it's so important to say, hey, we've learned this. Now, what are we going to do with this? Right. And I like the parable format is the Bible, the parable, or not the parables, but the Gospels are written a lot in parable format. And we learned because people at that time, they didn't necessarily understand how they were being spoken to. So they wrote and spoke in parables so they would really bring in to light what was being said. So that was kind of my approach. And it's been pretty successful so far. It's been pretty fun to see that.
Awesome. I know that you have different speaking events. Are you doing speaking right now as well?
So the speaking events typically are, just different Rotary clubs and chamber events. I'm also involved in Iron Sharpens Iron, men's conferences where I'll lead groups of men through different studies and things of that nature, try to pull bits and pieces of the book and other leadership content that I've come across. But it's been an awesome opportunity.
Did your speaking events kind of guide you into your current book, The Other Side of the Coin?
So in one of the chapters, for instance, it actually birthed some of the material in there, and we were talking about the idea of momentum, okay, on how success compounds success. So it's not one of those things where you just go out for a run one day and realize, hey, I didn't lose 10 pounds. I actually need to work out every single day. And I spoke on a story about the piñata, and as you swing at this cardboard animal that has paper mache all over it. And if you hit it enough times, candy or toys or prizes will come out. So I had asked the people I was speaking to, and I said, hey, so what do you think was the most important strike? Was it the last one? And a lot of people raised their hands and say, yeah, because that's when the benefit or the bonus came out. And I said, okay, well, that was a very good one. But consider, if that was the 12th strike, for instance, consider that third one, where you really hit it good and it swung around. It didn't do anything on the outside, but we don't know what's happening on the inside. And then the fourth and the fifth, and then eventually all of those hits amounted to that momentum, which caused us to get that benefit. And far too often, the New Year's resolution minded people, myself included, we get frustrated because our actions don't immediately cause us to see the benefit. So that was one of the cool conversations that we spoke on that really gave birth to parts of the second book. So I talked about that a bit too.
Awesome. I know with me, I share, my story and going through certain traumas and actually diving into one thing or another. I have 20 years in HR. I started writing very young, but when I was trying to find my purpose, there is this kind of roadmap that you go in because you really you have your gifts and your talents that you're believing in. So you go forward and you start doing some of those gifts and talents. And I tell people to work all of those because I believe your purpose will supersede either your gift or your talent. It will be the one that's just most effortlessly. Even when I got to the podcast, because I have been interviewing for 20 years for top companies, finding top talent, this kind of transitioning to this world was a no-brainer for me. But I often question, I hear God speaking to me. And of course, it was like in the beginning, he said, share your voice. So I said, "Ooh, okay, that's a big statement, God. How do you want me?"
Yeah.
Am I really ready? But you have to say, for me, it was like, okay, I'm going to share my voice. And then I started to write. I did the easier thing. I wrote it. I did the book. And I thought that was a way to share my voice. And he was like, you're not getting it. So you're not going to make the mark until you do exactly what I tell you to
That's
do.
Right.
So that led to speaking, and now this platform. But before all of that, I mean, I've always been a crafter. I've done YouTube videos and how to make this and that and event decorating and all of this, but it got me to this point where I know that this is my purpose. I feel alive. That I'm actually helping individuals. I've always been a motivator, but it takes certain components inside of you to unlock. And
That's right.
That's kind of my signature speech is about a lock, in that, some people unlock theirs a little bit sooner. And then other ones are kind of like standing at our locker in high school, like, why won't this thing work? Everybody else is doing this seamless. It's taken me a little while longer, and that's by design. Everybody has a different path in life, and
That's
get
right.
Different things. But your lock still works. You just got to be patient. You have to cultivate it. A lot of times, you got to sit still and let God talk to you, and you have to be obedient. Right. I always say that. You have to be obedient. I think to push past, but I think a good coach really hones into who you are and what you shine best in, and bring out that.
That's right.
Definitely. Now, do you have a coaching program?
So I do. It gives an opportunity for those that feel stuck. I likened this metaphor. I do a lot of mastermind classes too, where we'll go through a book study and we'll go through that and do qualitative questions and all that. But I had this box of like 25 to 30 books, and on the box it said heavy. And I'm getting to a point, but it's not just like to sound like I'm bragging, but I mean, I go to the gym and I work out and I'm in good shape for being 48. So I enjoy just going to the gym and lifting weights with my friend, but the box was not heavy. It was heavy for some, but it's the idea that McDonald's has on their coffee cup, hey, contents are hot because I'm sure somebody sued somebody, and so Amazon needs a stick that it's heavy. I use that metaphor to say, hey, there are going to be times in our life where something is in fact heavy, but a different perspective, a different idea, someone that challenges what they might know as their gospel in a sense, and say, hey, this is all I know. This is my mode of operandum. So to that point, I try to just, listen, pretty intently to see what those obstacles are, to present options, to see, hey, these are things that you might could try and try to move forward and see some progress. So that part's pretty fun when you get to see some people level up and you say, wow, that's pretty good. And selfishly, I call that Christmas Day moments. I mean, it's their it's their actions and their progress, but it's fun to be part of that.
Yeah. I know it's very important for, I tell people, at some point in whatever you're trying to do, whether it's career or personal development, sometimes you do need a coach in order to kind of give you the results that you're looking for. So you're not feeling as if you're staying on this roller coaster or hamster wheel. And that was me. Things really started to move when I found the right coach. And this is why it's so important that I bring a diversity of people on the show to give an audience a view of what they can achieve. And maybe they'll connect with an individual that's like, they're hearing your words, they're hearing your philosophy behind things, and it clicks. And I like to be a bridge to provide
individuals, especially our men. It is so amazing that a lot of men now are going, they're seeking out and getting coaches and going to more seminars, and there are more men groups, and going to therapy. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's so powerful. I mean, and everybody needs coaches. I have two myself that I see regularly. But just consider, with the Olympics just passing, Simone Biles, the greatest Olympian gymnastic, in my opinion, showing bias of all time.
Right.
But who's the first person that she ran off and hugged after she just killed it on the mat or the bars or whatever? It was her coach.
Yeah.
So it was somebody. I mean, she had the talent. It was always in there. But and further, the people that we work with and coach are a lot of times a lot more talented than I even am. In certain areas here, like Simone Biles, crazy talented, could do all these things. And I don't know that her coach could do all the flips and all the things that she could do, but he could get the best out of her. And that to me is you get to see, those gold medal moments on people and say, man, that was so cool. You did such a great job. And so that's so rewarding to when they activate that.
She's very brave in sharing her story and standing out. I believe in taking care of my mental health. And,
100%.
I'm an advocate for that. And just hearing her story and hearing her talk, where she doubts her own self, that she knows that she has all of these medals and that she's won this or that. And she has, all of these titles behind her name and things, and people look up to her, and she herself have inner doubt, fears, traumas to still, conquer. And even when you're on stages with some very well-known people and, you're called to do something that is going to be impactful to a community, you still, kind of say, I know I'm this, but, sometimes that doubt seeps in. Sometimes that fear, you're second guessing, and then you have to wake yourself up and say, no, I've gotten, like, I always tell people that I have, like, I do. I say, I got 4 heifers in my head. I do too. And I've had to put them all in their individual corners over the time getting better. And I've learned to dance with them and not have them lead me. But it was, years of doing the inner work. It was years of identifying, some things in my past that I did not ask for. It was about rewiring some of the mechanisms and the engineering that the abuse did, that the abandonment did, that the mistrust did. So it was a lot of inner work. So I really say that, these 4 people, they made me who I am. But finally, I've gotten to a point where I've mastered it, and that I could do these self-talks, and really think about the reality instead of thinking about, I believe, what the devil was trying to stop me from doing in order to help someone else, to bring someone out of the darkness. So it's really, you feel really good when you say,
that's so good.
I finally got it. I finally got it.
That's so good.
It is. It is.
And that's imposter syndrome that can that can get us all. And the point of not the point, but like I mentioned that in the second book, just talking about how, imagine if we didn't push past that. Imagine even the 20,000 foot view. Everybody whether they admit it or not, they have had it at some point in time in their life. But just imagine how ingenuity and science and just even bravery amongst people, and where they took a stand and they did things. So Martin Luther King, even in the I Have a Dream speech, middle of the way of the speech, and this is one of the best moments ever recorded in history. He was just talking, he was giving his speech, he was talking, and he was bringing some great words to Washington, D.C. and he initially wasn't going to go into what his dream was. And someone said, hey, tell him, Martin, tell him about Paul, tell him about the dream. And and I'm sure there was that moment where he's like, you know what, let's go. Imagine if that speech didn't take that turn. It still was a remarkable speech, but how much better it was because he spoke truly from the heart, and he just had threw the note cards away and say, I'm going to lead well. And here's it gets me choked up, but it's just kind of when you see that really kind of come out of somebody, it's remarkable. But it catches a lot of us. But back to the one talent, the two talents, the five talents, if we utilize what God has blessed us with, and if we truly live well to, further the kingdom through the things he's blessed us with, watch out, because big things are happening.
Oh yeah. That's powerful. And I always say when you finally accept I shouldn't say the challenge, I won't say it's a challenge, but you accept the assignment and you step out, well, be careful. You have to be careful because everything's going to come after you to stop
That's
you
right.
from actually obtaining what's already yours.
That's right.
So that's a heavy kind of mantle to hold, but we're equipped for the battle, right?
That's right. That's right.
I have to keep reminding myself. Now, are we really truly stuck in how we navigate obtaining our goals, you think?
I think there can be a sense of insanity where you're trying the same thing over and over, expecting different results. I find
You're calling me out.
Well, I'm calling myself out because my wife and I, we'll be in the truck and say, all right, what do you want to eat? I don't know. What do you want to eat? What do you want to eat? And it gets to be like this tennis game. And I'm like, so I took the disc profile. My wife took the disc profile, just understanding our communication methods and styles and things. And I've known this woman for almost 32 years now. I've been blessed that she's been leveling me up for that long. And even though you kind of have this idea about who, and how she thinks and stuff, I realized that I wasn't being succinct enough about really, I'm trying to be not forgiving, but just like, hey, I really don't care. But she desires that succinctness. So perfect example. Now, we're a little bit more decisive about where we eat, but I think we can get stuck, and we can have that level of, hey, I just don't see any forward progress. So I can see that happening. Yeah.
Now, and this is a vulnerable, transparent moment for me. I think going into season 3, I was like that because we were supposed to meet a while ago. And I was wrapping up season 2, and you go after you complete something. I believe you go into this chamber where you're really thinking, about the whole process that you just went through. How can I make it better? What would I change moving forward? So that was exactly where I was. Like, oh my God, well. Do I move forward? Do I stop? There's a lot of things behind the scenes in podcasting that a lot of people don't know. Sometimes it's overwhelming. How do I do this? How do I monetize? There's so many things. And, I started to think, do I want to move forward with this? But I have so many viewers. People are reaching out. The connections being made. There are so many benefits of me continuing that I can't let something seep down into me and give me those negative talks so that I give up. Because the moment that you give up is usually when you're about to explode, when there's some yumminess going to happen in your life, when when you're barely hanging on. So I said, no, you have to be consistent. You have to move forward. You have to believe in yourself. It's not over yet. So I said, you know what? I'm doing this. I'm doing it. I prayed about it, and I said, you know what? I'm going to make this an even better season. I've learned so much. It can only get better. I see it. So, that's a lot of people get discouraged because they're putting in the work and they don't think that they're pulling out everything that they've put in it. However, they're if you pull out too soon, you never know.
Yeah.
You have to keep in it. You have to keep believing in yourself. So that has been me. But I really love bringing people on the show, like these candid talks, so that
Yeah.
I mean, the internet is so fake. You know, we see all these degrees and all of these titles and things as such, and people are putting out this number and that number, and that number not be true. But when you really focus on your talent, what you have to offer an audience, but the person that you're supposed to reach will, you know, they will definitely be attracted to you. That's naturally, right. Because they're meant. Mm-hmm. So I've definitely hit my journey for sure. Now,
that's why our stories are so important, though, and I think that's so dynamic what you just said, because there's just different things in my life that I've been able to reach other people that I know that other people would not been able to do. And so I'm 6'4", I'm about 250. I was born with a basketball in my hand. I lived in Michigan, so I've always played basketball, and I was on this basketball league for this men's 40 and older league. And I was the heart of the team. I was easily the least talented guy. I was just big, and I clogged up the middle, and that's fine. But one of the games, somebody blew out a knee, and I'm like, hey, let's just pray for this guy. And I know that, you know, everybody's got different, you know, experiences, you know, with prayer and just whatever. So I'm like, but whatever. I unapologetically, I started kind of getting into, I'm like, we're just going to pray. That's fine. Right. So, I mean, fast forward, I think we were about a month or two removed from the season, and got some news that one of the fathers of one of the players, he had passed away, and he was a dynamic guy, and he was a father to many of the people on the team, you know, in a sense, and just a great guy. And I know that they didn't. I think I might have been the only one that attended church at the time. I mean, but the people I was hanging out with, I have 10 tattoos also, so I kind of, you know, just you know, that's cool, because I speak to a different crowd. But there's people with bracelets on their ankles. There's people that I know that just got out of jail and things, and I don't care about that. That's fine, right. Because we just trying to play ball and grow in brotherhood, you know. So, but fast forward though, one of the guys' dads passed away, and they knew me as preacher kind of thing. So based on me just praying that one time, I guess. So I got to lead a eulogy service. You know, because of that connection that I made, and it was so awesome and so powerful that I was able to be part of that. And you don't know that, you know, you plant seeds, and you don't know what has flourished and what doesn't. But you have to say yes. You have to be obedient to that call. And to your point, you're right, because I'm going to speak to people differently than you will, and my wife will be quite a bit different than I am. But we're all blessed with gifts. And you've talked multiple times about, you know, when we talk about and find our purpose. Mark Twain said the two greatest days in someone's life are the day they're born and the day they figure out why. So I just, you know, and I know that this is what I'm supposed to do. So it's like, challenge me not to, because I'm going to do it.
Now, Jeff, do you know what's next in your journey?
I mean, I'm a planned individual. I like to have an idea about what is going on. I mean, you know, immediately my second book is coming out probably within the week. So very excited about that. I did the final.
The other side of the coin is not out now.
And it's going to be out. Yeah. So it's not on Amazon yet. It'll be out. I mean, before, where are we in August? Before August is over, it'll be online.
Awesome.
So yeah, very excited about that. But in terms of what's next, I mean, I'm just trying to be diligent. Consistency compounds. So I just try to, you know, daily I'll reflect, and daily I'll try to write some, and, you know, I'll try to fill my cup so I can fill others well. But the specificity of what's next. I mean, I've got speaking engagements on the horizon. I've got leadership opportunities and coaching clients, mastermind groups, things like that. But no big thing yet, but I'm just trying to stay obedient.
Right. Awesome. I know I'm doing the same thing. So I definitely understand. I'm making some moves too.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny speaking with my coach. She's like, you're really not tapping into this, the leadership, this 20 years that you've really cultivated in HR. That's some gems there. And of course, I have a professional coaching package that, I teach people how to position their resumes, how to be seen, and how to ask for the money that you're wanting. But it's deeper levels that I could, kind of tap into and be an asset to companies. So that's something that's kind of entertaining. I know that I've shared my story, and I think when you're healing, I think it's good that you share your story, but it's even more impactful when you bring that story into full circle and saying, but this is how you get past that. This is how you are. This is how you obtain your legacy, coming to your purpose. So that's some of the things that I'm doing right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm so glad that you came on the show. A nice talk. I think it was way past time that we got to meet, but it's perfect because your new book coming out. So this was on purpose, of course, because we wanted to have you on before the release of your new book, The Other Side of the Coin, will be on Amazon. I know that I'm going to have all of the links on how to find you, the books that you have. Actually, they'll have everything in order to connect. If you're looking for a coach, this is the coach to connect with in order to get down to the psychology of things and kind of think about things different and how you can obtain legacy, purpose, and change the curve for you and your family. So connect with him. His website is down there. If you are listening in, it's coastalleadershipcoaching.com. And to the other book. Don't forget the other book. If you're going to get the new, you got to get the other one still.
That's right. And
he is I know he is available to be on your stage. A lot of my listeners are hosts of conferences. Please connect with Jeff. I know that he is going to set the stage on fire and give your audience tools and resources needed in order to change the curve for them. It's been real, friends and cousins. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to click like, share, follow, and subscribe. Cut on those notifications. Till then, have audacity in your everyday life. Bye.
Thanks.